it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but I'll be
who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off of sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
What up, T-Money? Shout out to my dad. I do this for you. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I know you guys haven't seen me in a while. Just a quick update. Since you last saw me, what has happened? What has changed? Obviously, I have officially retired from the military, y'all. This is my full-time job from here on out. No more distractions for the most part. But I got myself my DD-214. I am retired. It was a long 20 years, 8 months, and some odd days. But it's been a beautiful thing. The stress relief is real. Everything is perfect. And it's in perfect timing. It's like I planned it, right? Right after the regular season of college football, I want you guys to know I'm going to do this one episode today. And then I have football games tomorrow and Saturday. And then Sunday, the beautiful Kim Jones and I are going to take a vacation. We haven't had a day off from work. Not one day off since... I don't know, August. So we're going to go take a week-long vacation, going to go hang out with the fam, going to go do some things on the West Coast. So we're flying to California for a week, and the only thing we're going to miss is our dog. Don't mess with us. Shout out to Ash. But, hey, in the meantime, in between time, I'm grinding every single day as hard as I can, and obviously the transfer portal's coming. Now, this episode is about the transfer portal. And we're going to talk specifically about the transfer portal, the quarterback position. I think with every episode, I'm going to go over each position group. So this episode will be about quarterbacks. I will label it quarterbacks. And if you ever wanted to go back, just like last year, I have an episode. If you go back far enough on YouTube, go to the live streams, you will find the episode about quarterbacks. So this will be my first one. We'll go through all the position groups. And then once we go through them all once, we go back over them again because we want to see where these guys ended up. We want to see who else is added to the portal, if there's any new updates or changes. A lot of this initially, these first episodes, are all about projection. You see all the question marks there. They don't know where anyone's going. There's only a few people identified as 100%. And if I tell you guys there's errors on these websites, there's errors. I work really hard to find the errors. They don't. They just let them sit there. For example, if you look at all the quarterbacks in the transfer portal from 24/7 that they have listed, you'll think you have every quarterback in the transfer portal. You don't. Okay? From my count and what I'm prepared to talk about today, I want to tell you, I wrote down the number. It's 47. 47 different quarterbacks in the transfer portal today. Okay? And yet this website is only listing about, 30 or so. They're missing a lot of key ones. They're missing important ones. Now, if I hit refresh, it's going to take it away. I know that they just recently added Dante Moore and Stone Earl from North Texas, and I'll go over every single person. But still, they're missing certain people. You have to use multiple websites, or you can just use me, bro. I got you guys. I got you to no end. Now, you see these chat channels here. This is YouTube in the middle. This is YouTube. You're more than welcome to show up to YouTube and ask me questions. Anybody watching on TikTok, come over to YouTube, ask me any question you want. But listen, I'm going to have a theme of the show, so today it is quarterbacks. Please keep it focused on quarterbacks. Ask me questions about quarterbacks all day. The next show I do will be after the 10th. I'll have to see what the bowl schedule looks like and what our time looks like. But I'll do another show after the 10th, and it will be running backs. And we'll just keep going from there, okay? We're going to talk about every single person in the portal, though. Every single player. And I'm going to tell you which ones are going to die in the portal. And you guys can keep track of how many I'm right about. But I got it right so good last year. I know exactly who's not getting an offer. And it's going to blow your mind that some of these guys are hitting the portal, and they think they're going to get a second chance somewhere, and they're not. It doesn't happen that way, especially the redshirt freshmen. You think you signed a deal, you think you signed out of high school with a Power 5 FBS level school so you can play anywhere? That is not true. It's not how it works. Remember, FCS schools only have 62 scholarships. FBS schools have 85 scholarships. So when you're trying to go down a level, you got to make sure they got the scholarships available for you. That's a fact. Now I want to talk about some things. Firstly, the transfer portal actually opens on Monday. Monday, after championship weekend, the portal window opens on Monday. What does that mean? That means if you're an underclassman, if you haven't graduated and earned your degree, you can enter the transfer portal after Monday or on Monday without penalty, without issue. If you enter the portal before Monday, you're allowed to still enter the portal. Guys, those windows, the window's damn open. But when they say the window's closed, you still have every right to transfer. You can leave whenever you want. You understand? You can leave whenever you want. There's just penalties. Do what you can handle. They used to tell me that in the Army, right? Do what your rank can handle. And I'd be like, all right, I'm a grown man. You can do whatever you want. You got the freedom to leave school, transfer, but there's going to be penalties. So once the window opens, everybody can transfer free will. Right now, the only people that can enter the portal are graduate transfers. There is no penalty for them. So when you hear about a player entering the portal, be very clear. The player either A, intends to enter the portal, which means they're declaring early, they intend to enter the portal, versus this player is entering the portal. Two different things. And the significance is one player who's entering the portal and in, like a graduate transfer, can have immediate contact with other schools. They can be contacted and talked to. If you declare that you're entering the portal and you're not in, schools can't contact you. Two different things. So they're all raring to make those phone calls come Monday to figure some shit out. So you're going to start seeing a whole lot of commitments come Monday when the schools can actually talk to the players. Okay? So here's how we're going to do this. It says, why Dante Moore not on your screen? Maybe press refresh. No, unstupid. You're new to this. If you press refresh, it will take away the expanded list of quarterbacks that I've done. You see, it doesn't show up like this when you go to the website. It only shows you about 10 at a time. You have to keep hitting more to get the whole list. If you hit refresh, the whole list goes away. Thank you for asking. Thank you for commenting. It's just you're new. It's okay. I do this. Trust me. That being said, I will talk about every quarterback on this list. I will give you information, give you my assessment and rundown, and I will go through 10 quarterbacks. Then I'll go to the chat. Once I get through all the chat, before you ask me questions about that quarterback. Let's be clear. If there's a quarterback on here, I will talk about him. Please don't ask me any questions about that quarterback until after I talk about him, because maybe I'm going to address your question, and we don't need to rehash it twice. Fair? Okay. Please only ask me questions about the quarterbacks that I've talked about within that 10 frame. If you're on TikTok and you're watching, you want to ask me questions, go to YouTube. Search RicoKnows. Hit the live stream. You'll be there. We'll see it all. All right. So thank you guys for being here. Let's get started. First and foremost, these guys are in order by their rank. And if you ever look in 24/7, you'll see a T or an H. The T means they've been evaluated with a transfer ranking. That's all these T's here. So these are in order by rank. That's right. In order by rank, the way they have it. T. And then you see a HS here. That means they haven't evaluated him as a transfer. So he's 4 stars from high school, 3 stars from high school, 3 stars from high school. And the websites are notorious for being lazy. They will not evaluate these guys ever. They might just leave them like that. And then they just come up with bullshit ratings like this one here to say Will Howard has gained a star because he was 3 stars in high school. They're making him 4 stars, and he's the highest rated quarterback in the transfer portal. This is ridiculous. This is straight up blasphemy that he is the top rated quarterback in the transfer portal. And they're going to leave it like that. And the reason they're doing that is because they know where they have an inkling of where they think he's going. And if he's going to a top program, they want to say the top program is getting a star quarterback. I'm going to give you an example right now. I think Will Howard might end up at Kentucky. And if I think Will Howard's going to Kentucky, they did the same shit last year where they told us Devin Leary was the top quarterback in the portal. They ranked these SEC quarterbacks higher than everybody else. It is a crime. Okay? The other school he might end up at is Washington. Let me go back. This guy is the starting quarterback at K-State, started losing his playing time to Avery Johnson, but he's a good player. Will Howard can show up in games, and then he can be completely missing in games. He's very athletic. He's 6'5", 242 pounds, and he can run. Hell, he has a long run of like 80-something yards this year. I think his longest rush is the same as his longest pass, if I remember correctly. But I've also watched him just be completely inept in games. Straight up. That's why they have other quarterbacks playing. But he's not going to Nebraska. He's not going to Notre Dame because they gave their money to Riley Leonard. But he wants to go to a competitor, to a winner. He's made it clear he wants to go to Washington, Louisville, Kentucky, Missouri, or Auburn. Now, the Missouri one interests me because I don't think he's better than anybody at Missouri. So I don't think he can start at Missouri. Louisville's got a stacked quarterback room. They'd probably welcome him with open arms. I think he might be better than the quarterbacks at Louisville. Maybe. I think they got that Brady Allen kid. He's pretty good. So for me, Washington makes sense. The cupboard's bare at Washington. Auburn and Kentucky make a lot of sense as well. I'm leaning towards Kentucky. Could be wrong. Okay, Riley Leonard, I love the kid, playing at Duke, starting quarterback, final year of eligibility, 6'4", 215 pounds. Remember, he led Duke in rushing in 2022. He's a good player, man. He's injured this year. They kind of fell apart with injuries at Duke. That's what really hurt them this year, and they started falling off towards the end. They still made it to a bowl game, but this should have been a 9-10 win team easy, and unfortunately for them, they got hurt. They're not any good once they're hurt. They don't have the depth. That's the nature of the beast. It's kind of intriguing to me that he's not following his coach to Texas A&M, but when you hear about the money he's being offered, it's pretty insane. They're telling me it's over $1 million. They're telling me it's over $1 million for Riley Leonard at Notre Dame. That's why it's 100% Notre Dame. And I can't imagine Auburn matching that offer, but it's there. And we'll talk about who Auburn's going to get because I believe it's lower on the list. Tyler Van Dyke. So 2 years ago, Tyler Van Dyke got on the radar maybe 2 or 3 years ago, 2021. Remember De'Aaron King? He was playing quarterback. He came over from Houston. He got hurt, and then Tyler Van Dyke got in the game because he was hurt. So Tyler Van Dyke gets in the game and balls out 325 yards. I want to say he had some amazing numbers. And even like this year, this season, again with Miami, they started the season. He was 11-1 on his touchdown to interception ratio. And then he just started throwing 10 interceptions over the next 4 games. He just started throwing picks everywhere. So then they bench him for Emory Williams, some freshman. That guy gets hurt. They bring him back in, right? And I think he played okay. Here's my problem, man. He's got 54 touchdowns, 23 interceptions. I don't know where he goes. He's a pro-style quarterback. He's from Boston area. He's from the Massachusetts area. So for me, Boston College sounds right, but, you know, they like Thomas Castellanos. He's a little dual threat dude. So where does Tyler Van Dyke go? Does he go to Pitt? Does he go to Virginia? Does he go to Rutgers? They need a quarterback bad. Rutgers. Or does he stay south? Because he's comfortable where he's at. Look, he was in NFL mock drafts for the last 2 years now. They say he's got NFL traits. The scouts love him because of his size. Nothing he does on tape makes me want to love him, like makes me think he's great. Now, everybody wants to know, what's Miami going to do now that they lost him? Bro, I'm telling you right now, Ja'Cory Brown. Ja'Cory Brown, 6'4", 220, played at Lowndes High School here in Georgia. I watched him play his whole career. Lost in the state title game his sophomore year, and then he played 2 good years the next 2 years. He played well, but he lost in the title game against Marietta. That was the Eric Gilbert, Kamani Vidal, Harrison Barnes, Ricky White. That team was loaded, okay? And he was a one-man crew. They got blown out. They didn't stand a chance. But Ja'Cory Brown is the guy for me at Miami, just so we know. Will Rogers, I've never really thought highly of Will Rogers. Didn't think he was great. And I told you guys this. I know he's thrown for 12,000 yards. No, he has 94 touchdowns. But here's where I think he goes. He goes to 2 different places. He either goes to Texas Tech or he waits for Cliff Kingsbury to get hired somewhere, and he goes wherever Cliff Kingsbury is. That's the kind of quarterback Will Rogers is to me. He needs to find an air raid offense. He needs to be at Georgia Southern, Western Kentucky, Texas Tech, maybe Washington, if that's what they're looking for, right? Somebody to open it up and throw it everywhere. More power to him. It's his final year. Speaking of final year, DJ Uiagalelei has 1 year left. They're telling me who were his 2 finalists. Somebody was telling me in the chat. I forgot who. He's not a bad player. Oregon and FSU. Oregon and Florida State. Okay. Well, there you go. Remember, he got homesick. He needed to be closer to home because his mom was banging his quarterback's coach. His mom was banging his personal trainer. You know, he grew up with this guy teaching him how to play quarterback. And they call DJ's father Big Dave. Well, Big Dave ain't getting it done in the bedroom is what they tell me. And mom started cheating with his personal trainer, his quarterback's coach growing up, whatever it is. Hey, man, family stuff. And then they stopped talking in the family. He couldn't get it off his mind, and that's why he played so bad at Clemson is what they tell me. Nah, I don't care. DJ, go pro, bro. Go pro. If you're going to stay in college, be great. Good luck. I ain't with it. I think it'd be a shame to go to Oregon. I think it'd be a mistake for him to go to Oregon. I don't think they're developing quarterbacks the way he needs to be developed. You got to be good. I don't see him like that. Max Brosmer. Shout out to New Hampshire. Max Brosmer. 6'2", 221 pounds. He does have an offer from Minnesota. This is a stud, guys. This is a stud. He led the FCS in passing. Over 3,400 yards, 29 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. This is a stud. Go watch the tape. He's my second favorite FCS quarterback. My favorite's coming up. He's right here, Matthew Sluka. But this is my second favorite one. He's just a pure passer. He can sling it. I don't know where he's going to end up. I like those schools, Western Kentucky. I like those schools where you air it out. I don't know if Virginia's after another FCS quarterback, But Max Brosnan, dude, go to Rutgers. Go play at Maryland. Go do something great, brother. You're good. Grayson McCall, 3-time Sun Belt Player of the Year. Remember, he tried to transfer to Auburn last year, and the majors didn't match up. It was an admissions issue, not grades. I hate when people say grades. It wasn't grades. It was compatibility with the majors. Whatever, Coastal Carolina is a nationally accredited school versus a regionally accredited school. If you didn't know, regionally is better. It's one of those things where they didn't have the majors matching up, and he couldn't transfer last second. I think Hugh Freeze is still interested in him. He's a hell of a football player. He knows what he's doing. Grayson McCall. Go to Auburn, brother. Go to Auburn. If you're not going to Auburn, go to Florida State. I think he's a good football player, guys. I think he can play anywhere. That kid can play anywhere. I believe in him. Grayson McCall. It's the business. Now, Brendan Sorsby. You know what? I wasn't very high on Brendan Sorsby till today. I went and watched his film again. So I watched his whole film against Purdue. He had 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and I was very underwhelmed. And then I went back and watched 2 other games. And I realized, oh, my God, Sorsby's good. 6'3", 230. This is a dual-threat quarterback. This is a kid with 3 years of eligibility left. He's from Denton, Texas. What are we doing here? I started looking at it. I'm like, yo, he had 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions when he finally got the starting job, right, for Indiana. Indiana started scoring points in the latter part of the year because of this kid. And then I go, wait, you mean to tell me his touchdown to interception ratio was 12-2 going into the final game of the season? He had 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions before that Purdue game. What? This kid's great. Straight out of Lake Dallas, Texas, right? I liked everything about him. I think in high school he didn't get to play a whole lot. And I think that it's unfortunate. Kurt Cignetti showing up, the JMU head coach, showing up to Indiana. And I think it's unfortunate he's going to lose this kid because I think he would have been the starter for the next 3 years. But where does he want to go? Where does Brendan Sorsby want to play? You want to go to North Texas? Or are you trying to parlay this into a starting job at Oklahoma State? You trying to parlay this into a starting job in a Power 5 school? I'm curious. Oklahoma State sounds good, closer to home. Power 5 school. Houston's out there. There's some schools that might be interested in this kid. He's a hell of a player. Texas Tech. Wake up, Texas Tech. Nonetheless, young, stud, like him. Like him a lot. And Sluka, my favorite player in the portal. I don't know where he's going. He could start at Syracuse right now. I think he's following his head coach somewhere. Go start at Duke. Go start at this kid is it. Matthew Sluka is Johnny Football without the drugs. Back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons. I ain't talking about throwing the ball. I'm talking about running. Back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons. This is a Walter Payton finalist. That's like the Heisman for the FCS. He's a finalist back-to-back years. Matthew Sluka, Holy Cross, only got 1 year left, 6'3", 216. Everything he does is nice, man. So I think Arkansas should be interested in him. I think Nebraska fits him to a T. I think he's better than Avery Johnson at K-State. He's him. You know, when you look at his stats, you go look at his passing stat, 59 touchdowns in his career so far, 15 interceptions, 4-to-1 ratio. That's not what sets him apart, man. It's those 38 rushing touchdowns. 38 rushing touchdowns to go along with it. Sluka could start at Rutgers. I think he could start at Penn State. I think he's better than a lot of quarterbacks out there. I would put Sluka on Ohio State. I would put Sluka anywhere, man. This is a special quarterback. You heard it here. I can't wait to see what school signs him. Can't wait to see where he ends up. But if it's a group of 5 school, they're going to win their conference because of that man. Matthew Sluka, absolute beast. Oh, another school. East Carolina. East Carolina, App State. Those schools right there. He could play at either one of those. They need quarterbacks, or App State, Joey Aguilar's leaving, right? Tyler Shuck, all right, man. Injury prone as hell. I got an idea for Tyler Shuck that I haven't really thought about before because, if you don't know, 4-star kid, 2018, top 10 quarterback, goes to Oregon, doesn't win the job, transfers out, goes to Texas Tech, wins the job, been the starting quarterback for a while, but he's injury prone. And he's got some problems. And he's got 1 year left. This is a big kid, 6'5", 230. But what everybody needs to remember is Tyler Shuck's from Chandler, Arizona. He can go back to Phoenix. I think he can go to Arizona State and be their starting quarterback next year. I think he can. He's better than Rashada, and he's better than anybody they got on that roster. It feels like Tyler Shuck can go back to Arizona, go back home to Arizona State, be the starting quarterback. And it'll be pretty neat to see that happen, if it does. Another option would be UCLA. But good luck to him. Max Johnson, you already see him, committed to North Carolina. Tell me there's not tampering going on. I'm going to go to the chat after Max Johnson. Max Johnson, the son of Brad Johnson, Super Bowl winning quarterback. His brother still plays on A&M. I have inside information. I'm going to share it with the rest of you. They're telling me his brother's going to play in the bowl game, and then he's jumping in the portal and going to North Carolina to follow his brother. I remember them winning state titles here in Georgia. Obviously, I live in Georgia. I watch Oconee County won that title his junior year. They lost the senior year. But Max Johnson going to North Carolina. It's a good kid, man. I hope he plays well. He will be the starter. They needed him. I believe he has 2 years of eligibility left. Remember, he started at LSU as a true freshman, and then he just couldn't quite hold the job at A&M, and that's just life. But he got his schoolwork done. He knew he wanted to transfer, became a graduate transfer, and there he goes. So he can get in the portal and commit immediately because he's a graduate transfer, as opposed to the rest of these guys who are just declaring that they're going to enter. He's the graduate that can go make a decision right now. Okay. And with that, I'm going to go to the chat. So Discord holds a priority over everyone, and then I'll go to YouTube. TikTok, I don't see your chat. You need to come over to YouTube, put the question in, and then I'll see your chat. You guys are talking to yourselves over here, just so you're aware. All right. Back to what I'm saying here. Why isn't Dante Moore on the screen? We got that covered. Oregon got a 5-star Ty Thompson waiting in the wings. Yeah, Ty Thompson is 5 stars where, bro? Where? I don't know if he's 5 stars in your book or where, but it's not happening. I feel bad for Ty Thompson because they don't believe in him. They're going to keep getting guys in the portal to either challenge him or take the job from him. Remember that. It's really important people understand the difference between a good recruit and a top 10 quarterback in the transfer portal. Top 10 quarterbacks in the transfer portal warrant 7 figures, warrant 6 figures at the very least, because they're ready to start right now. They're going to go contribute at your program right now. There's not a single recruit quarterback that should be starting for you. There's not a single true freshman quarterback in America that should be starting for you. Not if you can get a top 10 quarterback in the transfer portal. I don't give a shit about 5 stars. There's every single 5-star quarterback should be redshirting. Every single one of them. Because if you're going to a blue blood program, you're going there to back up an NFL caliber quarterback. You shouldn't be starting over him. If they've been recruiting 5 stars and 4 stars, you show up, you're just one of the many. Get in that damn quarterback room, learn from everybody, shut up, and redshirt. Shout out to all the 5 stars that redshirted this year. And any 5-star that saw the field and was relied upon to be a starter, let me know how it worked out for you. You redshirt 5 stars. Click on Rico's yellow box and turn me up. Oh, you just got to turn up my output volume there, Andrew. You can click on my little emblem and click my output volume. You should be able to hear me just fine. I can't help you, brother. You got to help yourself. Sorry about that. Some people can't hear me. They don't understand. It's their settings, not mine. So that's how that works. Ty Thompson should not be starting anytime soon. If you think he's ready, let's go. Brosmer's stats are slightly inflated from checkdowns to lob, in my opinion, but still a good player for sure. Yeah, he's talking about New Hampshire putting up points. Well, they're inflated. He played at the FCS level. They're going to be bigger than other people's. But, yes, schemes matter. Your completion percentage goes way up, stuff like that. How do I enable audio? Can't hear Rico for some reason. Do you think we see Taylor Green hit the portal even if Boise wins the Mountain West Championship? Yeah. I think Taylor Green wants to go back home to Texas. I think if he gets an offer of some sort or anybody's interested, he's going to take it. I would imagine Texas State's interested. I would imagine North Texas is interested. Those two come to mind immediately. ULM should be interested. But it's what does he want to do? They need a new coach. He lost his starting job at the beginning of the year. It's bad. It's bad. And his best friends are all Texas kids, right? Janty, McAllister. All of them can probably leave and go get better positions, especially Janty. That's probably going to happen. So I would expect Taylor Green to get in the portal after the bowl game, even if they win the Mountain West. I'm on a mobile app. We got you. Yeah, you just click on my little icon. You should be straight, Andrew. Let me go to YouTube. I'll catch up on chat, and then I'll get back to the list of quarterbacks. Good afternoon. He's back. What up, Jalen Roan? Rico, do you think Michigan State could target a quarterback? Sounds like DJU wants to stay on the West Coast. Well, they're going to have to target a quarterback, Mike Schmidt. Michigan State, Aiden Childs is obviously on their short list, but they just lost 3 quarterbacks in the portal. So Jonathan Smith shows up, and you're going to need all new quarterbacks. And even if you get Aiden Childs, you still need another one to push him in camp and in case something goes wrong. So and don't get me wrong, Jonathan Smith knows what he's doing. Great quarterback coach, great head coach. They'll figure it out. I think it'll be rough. How do you feel about the Mississippi State hire of Jeff Libby? Has some folks in Starkville excited, hoping they hold on to run game coordinator Mike Schmidt to help them with the offense. Personally, I'm not that excited about Jeff Libby's hiring. Personally, I'm just not. I think they could have done better. I dislike the habit of Power 5 programs only hiring Power 5 coordinators. Like Mississippi State didn't consider Group of 5 head coaches. They were looking at Power 5 coordinators. It's a good old boy network. So when you hear somebody got hired and you find out it's the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator from another Power 5 school, just know it's a good old boy network. Nobody was looking at a Group of 5 head coach. And I wonder why. Why do they get shunned like that? When some of these Group of 5 head coaches are amazing. They're great at what they do. You see it at Syracuse. They went after a positions coach from Georgia. A positions coach. Do you know how ill-prepared position coaches are for head coaching jobs? Oh, but Rico, he was defensive coordinator at Temple. No. You wouldn't hire the Temple head coach. You wouldn't hire a head coach from a Group of 5. But when you're a coordinator and you get to a Power 5 program, you immediately get anointed. You immediately get hireable. If you're at a Power 5 school and you're a coordinator, they will hire you to be a head coach. Now, hiring a positions coach, let me tell you, it's only happened twice in the last 2 years now. And the last person to get hired from a positions coach was Kenny Burns, head coach at Kent State. And I don't got to tell you how terrible Kent State was this year. The worst team in America. They hired Kenny Burns, running backs coach from Minnesota. It was a last-second hire. You tell me why we're not respecting these amazing head coaches from the FCS or Group of 5. We're only trying to hire Power 5 guys. We're keeping it. It's oh, man. It's gross. They tell me it's nepotism in the NFL. Well, what the hell do you call it at college where when the openings happen, they only backfill them with Power 5 replacements? Power 5 opening, get a Power 5 guy. I got a Group of 5 guy knocking it out the park. You're not interested in him. Jeff Terry, you're not interested in him. It's gross. They'll fire somebody and go hire a rehash. You know how gross it is? Look at Arkansas. Arkansas doesn't give a shit. Arkansas doesn't care. They went and hired a dude with a neck brace. A mistress and a neck brace. Hired him back. How toxic is that? They don't care. They're going to hire somebody from the Power 5. You need a new offensive coordinator? We're going Power 5. Makes no sense. Zero. It drives me crazy. Congrats, Rico, on retirement. Thank you so very much. Congratulations. I might relapse during the Rico vacation, I need content, but enjoying vacation. Oh, I'll make content, Schmidt, but it won't be like, I won't be doing podcasts. I'll be making videos here and there on TikTok for sure. As we do, any breaking news, I'll make a video or three. Folks in Norman are excited for Luttrell and Joe John. There we go. That's one that I'm excited for. Seth Luttrell, a 7-year head coach at North Texas, finally got fired last year, and now he's back in coaching as an offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. Thank you, Oklahoma, for giving a group of 5 head coach a chance to be a coordinator for you. But you know what's sad is for Seth Luttrell, being an offensive coordinator at Oklahoma is an upgrade from being the head coach at North Texas. Right? This is why Sean Lewis left Kent State. He was running Kent State, but the minute he became a Power 5 coordinator, that was the upgrade. Going to Colorado to be why is it that you're going to be a coordinator at the Power 5? That's more important than being the head coach at a group of 5. We need to respect group of 5 head coaches. Some of them are utterly amazing. And they deserve everything, man. More so than these coordinators. These coordinators are just, you're the brother of somebody. Just wait till Kirby Moore gets his head coaching job. Wait till Riley gets his head coaching job. Garrett. Wait till all these guys who are just the brothers of somebody get their head coaching job. And you just keep ignoring Tedford. Keep ignoring, and we're finally getting hired. You know how good you got to be? You know how good you got to be, Kurt Signetti? You got to be undefeated, dominating 2 years in a row? No, you got to do it longer than that. Shout out to Luke Fickell. How long before Luke Fickell got hired? How long did he have to dominate at Cincinnati? It's ridiculous. Look what Josh Heupel did. Trust Josh Heupel. Use that as the template. Bastard. Where would you like to see Dante Moore land? I would like to see him land on his feet. What quarterback best for Nebraska? Matthew Sluka, 100%. Matthew Sluka fits their mold. He fits their DNA. He's a Matt Rule type of player. And Matt Rule has recruiting circles in the Temple area, up there right in the Philly area. That's close enough. Holy Cross. We're all in this same region, the Northeast region. Give me Holy Cross, man. Give me Sluka to go to Nebraska and rock that damn thing. What's up, Rico? Is Tyler Van Dyke going straight to SMU? What's his future in college football? Hey, so if you want to know why he said SMU, Rhett Lashley is the former offensive coordinator from Miami, now head coach at SMU. So if Tyler Van Dyke's going anywhere, he's going to follow Rhett Lashley to SMU, take over that quarterback spot. Is he better than Preston Stone? I don't know. But it sounds like a match made in heaven and reuniting with your relationship. So it's there. Jaden DeLara will probably to transfer outright. Thoughts on Demon Williams and Fafita for Arizona next year? So I haven't had a chance to talk about him. Remember, I said talk about guys I've talked about only because I might rehash it. But Jaden DeLara has not jumped in the portal. So this is all speculation. He has every right to jump in the portal. He can if he wants. I'm not sitting here and making lists and guessing at what happens. I'm reporting what happens. Two different things. I talk about it after it happens and I assess it. I don't try to guess and predict where these kids are going and who's going to jump in the portal and win. Because if you ask me, I could sit here and go, Eli Holstein. Eli Holstein's going to be one of the prized quarterbacks in the portal after Alabama finishes their bowl game. Or after the SEC championship. Eli Holstein, I think, is leaving Alabama, and that's a great quarterback. Good quarterback. Eli Holstein. So I could do that all day. I can start picking out dudes on the depth chart that aren't quite contributing and not quite there, but I don't want to do that. I don't like to do that. It's speculation. It's rumors. It's what the recruiting websites do, and they all suck. I'm telling you right now, they all suck. 24/7, we're going down this list. It's missing literally 10 quarterbacks. And when I start naming them, you'll be like, oh, where are they on the list? Yeah, I hit refresh, they won't be there. It's just everybody sucks, and I don't want to be that guy that starts guessing at things. Colton Grove says, do you think FSU will get a quarterback to transfer in? Yes. The answer is yes. With Nebraska saying they need a quarterback, who they go there, do you really think they need to get a transfer quarterback? Oh, yeah. Johnny Lee, they really need a transfer quarterback. Chubba Purdy is not the answer. They need a better one, and there's better quarterbacks in this transfer portal. I would say there's right now you could go as far as saying all these guys, maybe Burkett's better, maybe. But definitely Ken Sills up is better than anybody on Nebraska's team right now. From Ken Sills up, everybody's better than Nebraska, potentially. I know you're going to say Spencer Petras can't be better. Well, trust me, Nebraska doesn't have good quarterback play right now. He lost us the game against Florida State. I don't know who he is. You guys, whenever you talk about somebody, by the time I get to the chat, you got to use their name instead of saying he, they, him. Got to use the names. Can you see any of these quarterbacks potentially going to Tulane? No. Is Pratt gone? No, I can't see anybody going to Tulane. I don't think they're even searching for a quarterback. What is UNC Chapel Hill going to do without Drake Mays? They're going to be just fine. They have Max Johnson. Dang, Rico, Tawee Walker is going to enter the portal. Makes sense. Those Sawchuck and Tatum are going to be the duo. Yeah, we're not talking running backs. We're talking quarterbacks, but thank you for bringing it up. To UVA, JB should have played against Florida State. Where is Cliff going? I don't know where Cliff's going. I'm waiting to see. He's gotten offers. I'm waiting to see what he takes and where he becomes the head coach. There'll probably be more firings after bowl games. There always is. Okay, so we'll see what happens with Cliff. Hopefully they assign him somewhere early so he can start doing his recruiting. Dante Morris is in the portal. Yes, he is. Where are we at? I'm sorry, it just jumped on me. Why do you think 9 SDSU players have entered the portal? Because they lost their head coach. You're allowed to leave. Once your coach is going to retire, you have 30 days to enter the portal. No big deal. They had a bad season, and they're losing their head coach. What do you think about – I'm only talking quarterbacks, guys. I'm only talking quarterbacks. I don't know why you guys didn't listen to the theme of the show and read the title. Thoughts on Texas reaching out to Cam Ward? Hey, everybody should reach out to Cam Ward. He's a Texas kid. Started off at UIW. He's a hell of a football player. I think he's an NFL quarterback. You'd be a fool not to go get him. Did I miss you talk about North Carolina State? No, you didn't, Alex. I haven't talked about him. When I talk about MJ Morris, I will. Thank you for asking. Rico, Jashawn Johnson from Western Michigan. He was my teammate, and now he's going to transfer. What do you think of him? He's not a quarterback. This could be a dumb question, but the Florida, should they look at DJ Lagway to start or keep Graham Merton to start? So Florida should not be starting any true freshman quarterbacks. I already made this very clear. I don't care who you get in your team. That true freshman should not be starting for you. You should have 3 years' worth of recruits better than him. 3 years' worth. Recruit a great quarterback every single year, and you don't have to start your freshman. What do you think about Jaden Richardson from Tufts? I don't. Who do you think starts for Wisconsin next year? Do they have something in Nick Evers? They do not have anything in Nick Evers. I've been very clear about Nick Evers ever since I evaluated him last year. Nick Evers is not any good. He should not see the field. I don't think Nick Evers is a good quarterback. I made that very clear, and he lost every quarterback battle there ever was. I have video proof of this over and over and over again, and I'm going to say it again. Unless he's developed in the offseason and he gets better throughout his years, Nick Evers sucks. There you have it. Nick Evers is not a good quarterback. I don't even think he belongs at the FBS level. I think you'll never see him play. And if you do see him play, you'll be frustrated by his output, period. Rico, what school is Jaden DeLara going to? He goes to Arizona. Do you think Ty Simpson enters? I don't know. Alabama, they'll figure it out. Is E.J. Warner on that list? He is on the list. I'll talk about him shortly. Do you think K.J. Jefferson from Arkansas? If so, yeah, he's transferring from Arkansas. Who do you think they should go after? Nobody. Criswell's good. Let Criswell be your starter. Jacoby Criswell, the transfer from North Carolina, former state champ out of Arkansas, I think he should be the starter. I think he's a good player. Sorry, chat just jumped on me. Oklahoma had to burn Jay's red shirt because DG got hurt. Yep, it happens. You don't want to, but it happens. Now you lost a year of eligibility. How many quarterbacks from Alabama you think hit the portal? They have 5 scholarship guys and one of the top 2024 quarterback committees. So I don't think Lonegren's any good. I don't think Holstein's good enough to start, so I'd say at least 2. Jashawn Johnson, Western Michigan, please don't ever repeat your questions. You will get muted and banned. Thoughts on DJ? I answer every single question. I read every single comment. You need to just be patient And do not come in here spamming that shit. Thoughts on DJ transferring again? It's necessary. Congratulations to him. You don't want to stay at Oregon State. You don't know who your coach is going to be. Minnesota potential quarterback. Athan was awful. I told you guys Athan was awful. I made it very clear. I talked about it before the bowl game, and all the Minnesota fans attacked me when I said he sucked. They said, you don't know what you're talking about. There's a lot of promise, all this stuff. So they already have an offer out. They gave an offer up here. They gave an offer to Max Brosmer. So we'll see what happens. I don't care who they sign. They just don't look very fluid. They need to not get injured. How do I get into Discord as a Patreon MVP? Alex Fulford, there are videos explaining this step-by-step process. Don't ask me to explain it to you. I've made videos breaking it down. Over 1,000 people have figured it out. Go watch the videos. Hey, Rico, love your truth. What's your take on Fresno State? Will they reach for a quarterback in the portal? And glad we have Ted for a just-needed defense coordinator. So Mikey Keene's very good if he's not injured. Mikey Keene's a good quarterback, but more importantly, Joshua Wood is the best quarterback on that roster. He was injured this year. He has not played. It's the kid from Washington. I love everything I've ever seen. The first time I ever saw Joshua Wood play was when he was in high school. They had, after the state championships, they had the Georgia State champ play the Washington State champ. And everybody laughed because it's going to be Travis Hunter and Sam Horn at quarterback, the Missouri kid. And they're going to go play this team from Washington. They're going to blow them out. Nope. Wood won it on a Hail Mary at the end of the game, last play. Wood's the truth. I think Fresno's just fine with quarterbacks. They've had at least 4 leave the program in the last 2 years. Doesn't matter. They got good ones. They're still fine. So your thoughts on Sorsby. How do you think he stacks up versus Taven Jackson or even Jordan McLeod? So McLeod's the problem. So he's better than Taven Jackson because Taven Jackson, they benched Taven for him. So that's number one. McLeod's a good quarterback. Jordan McLeod's a good quarterback. But I think he matches up well when you think about his 3 years of eligibility left, right? I want to make sure I didn't miss something. No, we're good. Yeah, his 3 years of eligibility are fine. Thoughts on Jordan Crook, Omari Arbor? None. Dante Moore, do you think Cam Ward would be the best quarterback in the portal currently if he entered? Yeah, he's better than all these guys. Saw your thoughts. Thank you. Bro, why is Tawi transferring? No. Deal with it. Rico, Luttrell was hired after North Texas. He's been an analyst, got the nod once Levy left. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying a chance to be a coordinator. Not like when these guys are analysts, that to me, that's not hired. You're not even allowed to call plays. You're not considered anything. You're just an analyst. You mean you're on staff next to the GAs? Nah, it's not the same. At least not to me. Thoughts on Dylan Gabriel? None. I don't think about Dylan Gabriel. Any potential backup quarterbacks in the portal that K-State should look at? We're going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about all of them. So pick one. You think Aiden Childs transfers? Probably. Your coach leaves, you leave. DJ is from SoCal, USC or UCLA maybe. So he's from Southern California, yes. But when you're willing to go to Clemson and then Oregon State, that means you don't really have any requirement to be in Southern California. What's the motivation? Why? You're willing to travel anywhere and play. You have no loyalty to, region. It just doesn't work that way. Cam Ward to Ohio State would break the internet. Yep, it's $1 million decision there. Who's a realistic option for Syracuse? Sluka is. Yep, he is. Which quarterback do you think Mississippi State goes after now that Jeff Libby's the head coach? You guys have to make that decision. I don't know. We're probably going to be surprised by it. As of right now, I couldn't tell you. Noah Kim's there. Ken Sills there. There's not many options to be your starter right now. There'll be more. Miami Hurricanes might be going after Cameron Ward. Everybody might be going after Cam Ward if you got the right money. Do you think Marbury Mater, the Wisconsin 4-star quarterback recruit, is any good? So I don't worry about recruits. I don't think they should be starting. He's a 4-star recruit. He should go to school. Go learn how to walk to class and wipe your ass. Like, I'm not worried about recruits. I don't care how many stars you have. Keegan Jones from UCLA in the portal. Yeah, that's cool. I'm talking about quarterbacks tonight. There's truly no reason to be rude to people who are asking for advice. Don't throw for a shitty day for others. D-Train, thanks for sitting here. I don't think you're a content creator. Please don't give me advice as a content creator. Thank you. What do you think about Caden Fagans and after the Reggie Love transfer? I don't. It's a running back. I'm not talking running backs. I'm talking quarterbacks. MJ Morris officially leaving now hurts me. Yeah, I told you guys a month ago. In your eyes of expertise, what did you see Oregon do at quarterback with Bo Nix leaving? I really don't try to predict what teams are going to do. I report what happens. All right, I'm going to get back to the list, y'all, and then we'll get back to the text and the questions. Keep them quarterback-oriented, and if you think I'm rude and you don't like my show, just step off. Leave. I don't want you here. I don't care. I want support for people who get down with me and want the information. So back to the list. Hank Bachmeier. If you didn't know, Hank Bachmeier, former starting quarterback at Boise State, went to La Tech this year. It was a nightmare. You think you're going to play for Sonny Cumbie, this throw-it-all-cost quarterback, and he used to play at Texas Tech, and he just doesn't get it done that way. And his team looks terrible. The quarterback play at La Tech was really bad, although when Hank Bachmeier came in, he gave them a chance, but he just didn't get it done the way you anticipated or envisioned. And it's telling, right? You lose your starting job at Boise State, you blame the offensive coordinator, but it just turns out you're not that guy. You're not as good as we thought you were. Now, you're from California. I think he should be playing in the Big Sky. I think he should go to maybe East Carolina. They need a quarterback. BYU, West Florida, Western Kentucky, Georgia Southern. Like, you could try to go play other places. And if you go look at his stats, 67 completion percentage, whatever. I watch every La Tech game. MVPs know this. I watch every La Tech game. Not good. Okay? Not good. Hank Bachmeier, you got to go. Noah Kim's next. 2 years of eligibility. Obviously couldn't hold the job at Michigan State, but did play just as much as any other quarterback at Michigan State. So good for him. Noah Kim, 6'2", 185 pounds. Remember, he's from Virginia. He's from Virginia. That's important. So he could go to Indiana if they wanted him there. He can go to Virginia, add depth to that quarterback room. Maybe NC State, they need a quarterback, or he's a MAC guy. And those are pretty much my options for Noah Kim. He's either going to the MAC and getting realistic about his talent level, or he's going to try to go play at NC State, Virginia, Indiana, something like that. But he's just not quite good enough to hold the job by himself, just so we're clear. At least that's how I feel about it. Spencer Petras. We know the quarterback play at Iowa was bad. We know it, and it's been bad for 2 years. Injuries devastate that team, but Spencer, for me, is really weird. So he's 6'5", 231. If you guys didn't know, he's got 1 year left. If you don't know Spencer's background, he's from California. And he went to the same high school as Jared Goff, and he broke all of Jared Goff's records. By the way, that same high school, not just Jared Goff. Nick Rolovich, former Hawaii quarterback, Hawaii head coach, Washington State head coach, the guy that got fired for refusing to take the vaccine. He also went there. Dan Fouts went there. So it's a very accomplished high school. I think Spencer Petras should come back home to California, get closer to home, and go play in the Big Sky. Go play for Sacramento State. Go play for Montana State. Montana something, Idaho. Do something else. But you can't do it. He can't go to San Jose State, which is probably closer. He can't beat Jay Butterfield, the Oregon transfer from last year. I don't think he can beat him out. They're obviously losing their quarterback. He'd probably go to Hawaii, maybe, and compete. But this is not what you think it is. They just get it wrong, you know. Jerry Bohannon, a 4-star coming out of high school. Loved him at Baylor. Thought he played all right. He's always been kind of injury prone. Never played a full season that I can remember. Eventually transferred to South Florida. Was their starting quarterback when they were 1-11. But he's a team leader, led the locker room. They get a new coach coming in, Alex Golesh, the offensive coordinator from Tennessee. And Coach Golesh just looks around and goes, nah, we're going to have open tryouts. We're going to have open tryouts. And what's crazy is the backup quarterbacks for South Florida, both of them, both backup quarterbacks transferred. It was McLean and another kid. They go and transfer to UCF. Could you imagine both your backups leave to go be backups at UCF? And then UCF takes those two kids, and I guarantee you UCF's bringing in a different transfer this year. They're bringing in Tyler Shuck or one of these guys up here on the chart to start over those kids. Those kids have wasted their careers to be career backups because you're afraid to go play at a school of a lower caliber than the Power 5. So you intentionally keep going to these Power 5 schools knowing you can't play. Like Jerry Bohannon should be transferring to Bethune-Cookman. He should be transferring to Jackson State. He should be transferring to North Carolina Central. You can't play at this level. Stop going and moving to a lateral transfers, and you just end up on the bench, losing your job. It's weird, man. I don't know who's advising these kids. You know, I was on the phone today with a young man and he's one of the leading rushers in the country. And he's telling me he wants to transfer to the Power 5. And when he tells me he wants to transfer to the Power 5, I said, well, what school? And he tells me the school, and I just kind of pause for a second. And I tell him, what are you talking about? That school is about to lose their head coach, because I think he'll get fired in the next 24 months. They just got a transfer running back they didn't even use. They got a running back in your same class they didn't use. They let these guys sit the bench, and this is after they rushed for over 900 yards at a previous school. What are you talking about? And these young men are getting advisement from the wrong people. So I'm so grateful that that young man reached out to me and said, hey, coach, they call me coach. He said, hey, coach, what should I do? I said, hey, dude, I wouldn't do this. No. You're one of the most productive running backs in America, and you want to go to this Power 5 school just because it's Power 5? Are you kidding me right now? Well, and I get it. These young men don't want to be Keaton Mitchell. They don't want to put up 1,400 yards and go undrafted. I know. But my goodness, man, look at depth charts and look at the stability of coaching staffs. And I think a lot of these quarterbacks aren't doing it. You know why there's so many quarterbacks in the portal? Because you can only start one. Every position on the football field rotates except for quarterback and offensive line. There's no rotating there. You're either the starter or you're not on the field. If you're rotating quarterbacks, you're not winning games. Because if you got two quarterbacks, you don't have one. You're rotating offensive linemen, somebody's injured. But defensive line, linebackers, tight ends, wide receivers, running backs, secondary, everybody's rotating groups. Not offensive line, not quarterbacks. That's why all these kids are in the portal. Don't forget it. They need to reassess their talent and their ability. They really do. And they need to talk to somebody who will give them tough love. Ken Sills. Congratulations, Ken Sills. You've now graduated from Vanderbilt. It's a hell of a degree. If you guys don't know Ken Sills, I don't blame you, but I also want to know, what are we doing? What are we doing? You should know Ken Sills. This guy should probably transfer to a Texas school or to Oklahoma State, but a Texas school for sure. So Ken Sills started as a true freshman. His freshman opener, he started for Vanderbilt. He's thrown for over 1,000 yards 3 different seasons, but he missed 2021 or 2022, one of the two. 22. I think 22 he missed. He's not terrible. He's a decent player, but he's also not overly great. But he's one of the all-time leading passers in Vanderbilt history, if you didn't know. 9th all-time in passing touchdowns, 7th all-time in yards. I know that's not saying much, but he is. 3-star kid coming out of Texas. I forget where he came from. Oh, Azale. It's if you're looking at the map, Fort Worth, it's to the west of Fort Worth, a little northwest of Fort Worth. That's where he's from. So I think he's a good kid, man. Graduate transfer, got 1 year left. Go do your thing. After that, I think there's a huge drop-off in ability in the transfer portal, okay? Miles Burkett, 3 years of eligibility left, coolest dude ever. So the reason I say coolest dude ever, this is a redshirt freshman this year. He beat out Nick Evers. When everybody thought he wasn't going to beat out Nick Evers, they bring in transfer quarterbacks. They bring in Tanner Mordecai to be the starter. They bring in Braden Locke. They bring in Nick Evers. And they already had Miles Burkett, and he just stayed there. He said, cool, man, bring in all your dudes. I'm gonna compete. And he got 3rd string. Now, he never saw the field this year, so he's transferring. But I think he's a pretty good player. I think he can play at a different level, smaller level. In the MAC, in Conference USA, I think he could start somewhere like that. I think he could start at Sam Houston, something like that. Or ULM. They need a quarterback bad. Louisiana. Just think he's a good kid. I like that he stuck around, competed, and he beat out Nick Evers for the 3rd spot. Still never saw the field. Jake Rubley. If you guys don't know, Jake Rubley, K-State, I feel like he went to high school somewhere else. I know they say he's from Colorado, but his dad coaches at Colorado, right? You guys don't know this? His dad coached at Colorado Highlands Ranch. So this kid probably belongs at the FCS level. He's 6'3", 217, big kid. I feel like Kansas State recruits a certain type of player, like a blue-collar kid. He only played in 2 games his senior year of high school. He played at Iowa. That's right. He was in Colorado, left to Des Moines, Iowa, played in 2 games, got injured. or just only played in 2. Was it eligibility? It was something. He didn't play much in high school, not his senior year. He just never really lived up to the hype, man. Never really lived up to the hype. I would be interested to see if he goes to – I would go to Colorado. If I'm him, I would go to Colorado. I would. Colorado State. I know they got Braden Fowler and Nicolosi, but it is what it is. Texas Tech, Iowa State, stuff like that. He can go anywhere in the Midwest and be a backup. He's not starting anywhere. Dexter Williams, feel bad for this young man. Dislocated his kneecap in the season finale against Purdue back in 2022. Very bad knee injury. Just dislocate your knee and then in the season finale, and then they needed surgery. And he hasn't quite recovered since. This is a dual-threat quarterback. And this year, with everything Indiana was doing wrong at the quarterback position until they found Sorsby, Dexter never played. It's unfortunate. He's got 3 years of eligibility left. He's from Macon, Georgia. He's a Georgia kid. I think he should go to, like, the Fighting Camels of Campbell or something. I think he should be at the FCS level for sure. But I hope he gets better. I really do. He didn't play, though. Have I gone through 10 yet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do 2 more. Mitch Griffiths. You guys know the deal. Mitch Griffiths, his brother, Brett Griffiths, transferred to JMU last year, younger brother. They said, hey, Mitch is taking over for Sam Hartman after all those years being the starter at Wake Forest. Mitch has been the starter in waiting, and he practices well. Well, guess what? He doesn't play well. He's short, played for his dad in high school. He's 5'11", and he looks shorter on tape. He looks shorter on film. It's a problem. He was benched against Virginia Tech this year. I'll never forget it. Benched. Then something went wrong with Michael Kern. So they bring him back in. 3 passes, 3 attempts. They bench him again, and we never saw him again. I think it was against NC State. Never saw him again. And Michael Kern, I guess, is taking over the job. But this is a kid who probably belongs at, like, Richmond in the FCS, probably belongs at something like that. And he's a high-end FCS quarterback. I don't think he's an FBS guy. I don't. Ari Patu, talk about not being an FBS guy. Ari Patu's been the backup for many years to Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee. Ari Patu. Tanner McKee's up here. Ari Patu's his backup. Everybody at Stanford's going, yeah, Ari will be the starter. Don't worry, Ari will be the starter one day. As soon as Tanner McKee goes to the NFL, Ari will be the starter. Well, David Shaw retires, whatever, quits, and they go get a new coach. And coach shows up, and coach is like, who are these guys? Right? Troy Taylor, the head coach from Sacramento State, comes over. He's like, who are these quarterbacks? Who are these guys? So he lets them all try out. And he don't care that Ari Patu is from Folsom, California, Northern California, powerhouse. He don't care about that pipeline you have going from that school to you. No, don't care. He says, hey, man, I think I like Ashton Daniels better. Ashton Daniels. Shout out to Ashton. He's a Georgia kid. And then after spring ball, Ari's like, okay, I'm going to compete with him in the spring. I don't know if I'm winning it or not. We'll compete in the fall. But Ari Patu's feeling like I'm going to still win this job. Then after spring football, Stanford goes out and signs Lamson. Who the hell is Lamson? Well, Lamson's a kid who was at Syracuse from California, went all the way to Syracuse to play for Dino Babers. Lamson was battling for the second-string job at Syracuse behind Schrader this year. Garrett Schrader's going to be the starter. And then you had Carlos Del Rio Wilson transfer up from Florida, and he and Lamson are battling out for second string in the spring. And Lamson wins second string. And he decides, now that I've won second string, I'm going to hit the transfer portal. That was crazy because Schrader sat out spring ball altogether. So I'm watching their spring game. I'm watching all their spring practices, and Lamson's out playing Carlos Del Rio Wilson. So Syracuse is going, yeah, man, we found a good quarterback. We developed him. He's here. And as soon as he wins the second string job, boom, jumps in the portal, and Stanford gives him an offer. And so he comes over to Stanford, and now Ari Patu's sitting there going, man, you just offered this guy? You offered Lamson too? So they've been playing Lamson and Daniels all year, and Lamson's a running quarterback. He's a dual-threat dude. He's a white guy who's very athletic. And they're not letting Patu play at all. 10 games in, they finally let Patu play wide receiver. He goes out for one pass at wide receiver in the 10th game. And then in the season finale against Notre Dame, after they've been blown out completely, They finally let him play. He goes 3 for 6, 37 yards, and then he rushed for 37 yards as well. But he had a fumble. And that was it. That's the end of his Stanford career. I don't know what Ari Patu does. I don't know where he goes. I don't think he should be starting anywhere. Like, maybe he goes to Boise if Taylor Green leaves. Maybe he goes to Nevada. Brandon Lewis is their starter right now. He could start there maybe. But it looks bad. If I'm Ari Patu, I'm going to Hawaii to go play for Timmy Chang. You guys are going to hear me say go play for Timmy Chang over and over and over. Jefferson Bose, kid 6'7". He's enormous. I don't think he should ever play FBS football. I don't think he ever signs with anybody. And you guys got to understand this. When I make this call, I've went and watched the tape. I've assessed what happens. And these kids don't understand this. They all think, well, I was a walk-on, or I played at North Carolina. I played at XYZ. I'm going to jump in the portal and I'll get my offers. No. Don't jump in the portal unless you already have your offers. Let me say that again. I'm not saying you need to be tampered with, but you should have an agreement with another school before you ever get in the portal. How's that work, Rico? Well, it works with third-party intervention. It's the same reason I'm talking to SMU and other schools today, because I'm your third-party intervention for some of these players, because I'm reaching out to some of these schools for the players. You got a coach, a high school coach. You got a trainer. You got somebody out there that can speak on your behalf, and just double-check and see if a school would be interested in you if you theoretically jumped in the portal. Do not jump in the portal and go, where is everybody? I'm talking to a young quarterback today. He's writing me messages, and he's like, hey, I had all these offers. I had all these promised offers. And then once I jumped in the portal, crickets. None of them will write me back, and nobody's responding to me. I haven't heard from anybody, and I'm just sitting here wondering, why am I in the portal if nobody wants to talk to me? And I feel bad for that young man. But I also feel like you guys don't understand. It's a business, and these guys are going to say what they need to say. They're going to do what they need to do. Okay? Please understand that. Shout out to everybody watching on TikTok. I answer questions from YouTube or the Discord server. So just go search RicoKnows on YouTube, join the show, and I'll answer your question. Sorry. But, yeah, I don't think Jefferson Bose has a future in football. I think his future will be contributing to society a different way. It's not football. He will not be a football player. And there you have it. That's how I feel. All right, let me go back to the chat and see where we're at. Give me a second here. I'm going to Discord server first. Should Illinois get a quarterback from the portal because Luke Altmaier ain't crud? Well, yeah, they should get a quarterback. They're running out of eligibility, but Luke Altmaier throws a lot of picks. He's not bad. He's not bad. Let's go back up here. Mason Blackmore of Illinois State. Do you think he'll transfer after having a crazy year? Mason Blackmore, did he transfer in or was he there the whole time? I think he transferred in, if you remember correctly. What do you think about Penn State new offensive coordinator? I'm only talking quarterbacks. I apologize. Transfer portal quarterbacks. Mississippi State went from trying to reel in Chadwell to John Summerall, turned them down without an interview to Jeff Libby. I was very upset that they weren't thorough. Zach Selman went back to Oklahoma to bring in someone. Yep, exactly. Yeah, Summerall isn't going to interview or talk to anyone until after the conference championship. He stays where his feet are. I like people who are faithful. Shout out to Shazier. I think some of these guys declare for the transfer portal just so they don't have to play the bowl game. Unstupid? I think they declare because the window's going to open soon, and they probably want to get a head start before the National Letter of Intent Day, because you want to sign with a new team before they waste 25 scholarships on freshmen. They're going to waste 25 scholarships on high school kids, and they won't have any left over for you. So you want to sign before they use those. That's how that works. There's only 85 chairs. Cam Ward to Illinois would be insane. It would be impossible. I heard Colorado School of Mines is looking at Cam Ward. Everybody is. DJ should have stayed at Oregon State. They'll have a good chance at winning the Pac-2 next year. Touche. Why would Riley Leonard go to Notre Dame? They don't have what it takes to make it to the college football playoffs. He's making $1 million. He's making $1 million. He's making more money than he would as a rookie in the NFL. Not sure playoffs is the goal. Exactly. What would you do for $1 million? Yeah. Blakemore transferred in, Rico. Yeah, I thought so. That's exactly what I thought. You can't transfer again for the most part. Let's go back to the chat, see where we were at. Sorry about that. Bro, why is Tony transferring? Nope. DJ is from SoCal. Got that. MJ Morris officially leaving. in your eyes. I already talked about it. Thoughts on Avery Johnson at KSU? Good kid. Congratulations. Hope he does well. I trust KSU developing players. I love their coaching staff. I like what Kleiman does, so I hope he does well. Does Tennessee need a transfer quarterback to back up Nico next year? Nobody. Remember this. Nobody, with the exception of like 3 guys, nobody's transferring to be a backup. They're transferring to be a starter somewhere. Very few guys are transferring to be a graduate assistant transfer, get started on their coaching career. We had 3 guys do it last year, right? Paul Thompson at Clemson. You had the kid who showed up to Ohio State, Jebbia, and then you had the quarterback that from Indiana that came over, Tuttle. Was it Tuttle? Those three. That's it. I don't know of any other quarterbacks that transferred to be backups intentionally. I don't know of anybody else. Not off the top of my head right now. DJU to FSU, what are the odds? I don't know about the odds, but 50-50. There's 2 schools. How do you feel about Matt Rule saying you will have to pay $1 to $2 million for a quarterback? Matt Rule knows what he's talking about, and what he's talking about is $1 to $2 million for a starting quarterback in the portal, one of the top 10 dudes. These top 10 guys, if you're top 10 in the portal, it's $1 million. That's what the coaches are saying. It's $1 million. They're letting it be known. But I think the reason they say that out loud is to let the donors, the boosters, know how much money they're going to need. I think they're exaggerating, but it's just to entice more money. So you say it's going to cost $1 to $2 million, and then those boosters go, all right, man, we need to get our money together. We're trying to get one of these guys, and you can probably get them for $800,000, $500,000. Because I know that, Austin Reed got $300,000 last year. Don't tell me inflation threw it up that much. What transfer quarterback is dominating right now and carrying their team to the national championship? A few? Michael Penix Jr.? So is it worth it? That's what you got to ask yourself. Is it worth it? Who you got winning the Heisman? No, not Daniels. No. Bo Nix if he plays great tomorrow. Do you see Dante Moore going to Oregon? I could, Myron Kidd. It could happen. Do you see Cam Ward going to OU? OU? Which OU? Ohio State? Next year, and it isn't even close. We have the best wide receiver next year, and it isn't even close. He's going to go wherever the money goes, man. It's where the money is. He hasn't gone anywhere for the wide receivers. Can't see Noah Kim going to U of A with Colandrea and Musket being there. AC-10 has made it clear that he's staying. Yeah, that's cool and all. I'm just saying, be closer to home, and those guys aren't that great. Colandrea and Musket aren't that great. They really aren't. They're turnover prone, just throwing the ball everywhere. They didn't impress me this year. And I like Virginia. Wide receiver core, not the best. Okay, thank you. What do you think about Jackson Dart? Do you think Ole Miss adds or loses any quarterback? I think they learned their lesson. Jackson Dart's a baller. There's nobody better than Jackson Dart in this transfer portal. I'm not taking any of these quarterbacks over Jackson Dart. Nope. I like Jackson Dart a lot. He's not the problem there. Problem there is continuity or lack thereof. Problem there is losing position coaches to other schools and other places, and then you have no continuity with your coaching staff in the offseason. That's the problem. They don't have a core, a nucleus. Did you talk about McCall yet? Yes, I did. Rewind the show. Can you talk about Avery McFadden from Hillcrest, South Carolina? He's not a quarterback. I don't care. I don't care. Thoughts on landing spots for KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders? I don't care where Rocket Sanders lands. That's my running back. I'm going to do a running back show. Running back show will be the next time I do my podcast, which will be after the 10th. I'll talk about all the running backs there. KJ Jefferson, my thoughts, wherever he lands, he'll be the starter and he'll be great. I love what KJ Jefferson brings to the table. I hope somebody goes out there and throws a bag at him. It's a good quarterback. Rough year this year. Thoughts on Syracuse hiring Fran Brown? I think it's a terrible hire. Congratulations for hiring him. I hope you're happy with him. I don't think he meets the specifications for that job. Period. He's never been a coordinator in the Power 5. You don't have those things that I'm looking for. Just hiring a good recruiter, that doesn't get you wins. It doesn't. So good luck. Syracuse, I think, is a bad hire. I would have hired him to be a defensive coordinator at one of these Power 5 schools with an opening first and let him earn his stripes and learn what it is. Being the defensive coordinator at Temple does not prepare you to be the head coach at Syracuse. Being the corners coach or the secondary coach at Georgia does not prepare you to be a head coach anywhere. It just doesn't. Check out Avery McFadden, baller under the radar. Okay. Rico Flores Jr. enters the portal from Notre Dame. Can you weigh in on this? I'm not doing a wide receiver show for a while. Aren't you the guy who said Hyatt was a bust? I don't even know who Hyatt is. Rico, is Arch Manning going to enter the transfer portal? No. Where will Grayson McCall go? Rewind the show. Anyone remember Jamie Newman? Yep. Sat out, prepared for the draft. Was a super weird decision. Yep. Wake Forest. Yep. Jake Rubley for UTEP. We will take him. Hey, UTEP does need a quarterback. Rico, any thoughts on who NC State will go after for quarterback? None whatsoever. Noah Kim sitting there, though. Do you think Caleb Johnson leaves Iowa? That's not a quarterback. Have you heard of Tyler Neville? It's not a quarterback. Transfer portal quarterbacks, guys. Opinion on Syracuse at quarterback this year. You think Fran going to stick with Del Rio or transfer portal? I'm sure they'll try to find competition. They also have the kid who just transferred in, Braden. The 6'5" kid from Delaware. They have a couple guys on the roster. They'll be competing. Who do you think wins, Bama or Georgia? That's not part of the show. Ask an MVP. Can you do a video on Corey Kiner from Cincinnati, the running back? Why? He didn't do anything to impress me. Can Oregon really cover? Guys, I'm not doing this. Thoughts on Nathan Kaliakmanis? I think I already talked about him. Have I not? Have I not brought him up? Oh, he's not on this list. I had to add him to the list. I'm going to the list at the end. I'll talk about him shortly. I thought I did. I thought I told you guys he sucks. Could have sworn I talked about it. Or maybe somebody asked the question earlier. Rewind the show. Friends don't know, but Rico knows. There you go. Where do you think Dante Moore and Will Rogers go? To teams that want him. Thoughts on Riley Leonard to Auburn. His girlfriend attends AU. Yeah, his girlfriend's not worth $1 million. She'll understand. Zion Chris of Louisiana, lots of potential at the Group of 5 level. He's very good. How do you feel about Arkansas offseason moves so far? I haven't been paying attention to their offseason moves so far. I don't understand what you mean. Thoughts on Dante Moore possibly going to Michigan State, or is he going to another school? He could go anywhere, wherever he's going to get developed. What's Maryland looking like at quarterback next year, Rico? We're going to find out. We need the whole offseason before we can assess it. I'm sorry. My TikTok is making me do some things over here. I can't do any assessments like that till the summer. Sorry, guys. Thoughts on Allen? Do you know anything about Corey Kiner? Yes. He's a running back at Cincinnati. Rushed for over 100 yards the other day. Do you think Caleb Johnson leaves Iowa? Please don't repeat your questions. It holds up the whole show. Jake Hickey Bates, quarterback. Don't know him. Jack Hickey? Don't know him. That a lower level than FBS? Talk to me. Do you think there's a realistic replacement for Q at Temple? A replacement at quarterback for Temple? Yeah, there's a ton of them here. They're going to have to pick one because they don't have it on their roster right now. Thoughts on DJ Best Fit? Rewind the show. What's Maryland looking like at quarterback? I apologize. I'll know after the season, off-season. Where do you Jordan Jake is going from UNLV? That doesn't – it's not a quarterback that rings a bell for me. Where will Ethan Kaliakmanis go? I don't think he's a FBS power quarterback. I think he goes FCS. I don't think he's an FBS level quarterback. Where does MJ Morris go? South Alabama. MJ Morris to South Alabama. Do you think Jake Rubley ends up with Group of 5 level? Possibly, or lower. Do you think Arch Manning will transfer? No. How do you think Riley Leonard and Notre Dame will work out next year with their schedule? I have to see what else they do this offseason before I say anything like that. Thoughts on the On3 report saying DJU is linked to Oregon and FSU? Rewind the show. Congratulations. DJ to Michigan State. Congratulations. I don't think it's happening. Kirk Signetti to IU. Not the theme of the show, but rewind it. I talked about it. Have you talked about KJ Jefferson and Dante Moore? Yes. You think Jaden Maeva will get poached from UNLV? No. I think he's just barely good enough to start. He didn't do anything that great so far this season. He became the starter because of injury, and I haven't seen him play all that well. I think Ricky White's great and doing a lot of things after the catch. Let's not get carried away. Thoughts on Kent State quarterback room? Michael Alamo jumping in the portal, so he's leaving. Former 4-star from Purdue. He's not on this list, by the way. These guys should be fired. But Michael Alamo leaving, going to Kent State. It's crazy that he's leaving. Their quarterback room is gross. Their quarterback room's bad. They got to find another quarterback in the portal, and I think they will. And it's going to be one of these guys we're telling you that can't start anywhere else. That's what it's going to be. These Hunter Helms, these Jarrett Guess, Gavin Rupp, these guys are going. They're going to be the Kent State quarterback. Carlos Davis, maybe. It's not going to be anybody you guys are talking about. Maybe Ben Finley is willing to do it, or Jefferson Boys, but it's not anybody on their roster right now. It's bad. Who do you think Notre Dame should target at wide receiver for Riley in the portal? I haven't really looked. This is a quarterback episode. Jacoby Criswell transferred from UNC to Arkansas to back up KJ Jefferson. I'm very aware. Talked about it all last season. Welcome to the show. Watch my videos. Hey, Rico, what are your thoughts on our freshman quarterback, Jaden Maeva? Freshman. I know who he is. Talk about him every week. Go back and watch all the Mountain West. Go watch all the Mountain West shows. They're on Fridays. Go watch the Mountain West podcast. Thoughts on Braden Sorsby entering the portal? I don't know what you guys are doing, man. Rewind the show. Do you think Shedeur Sanders will win the Heisman next year? Not transferring. Why are NorCal kids so under-recruited? It's a shame. Because when they go to college and they're performing the way these guys do. Do I think Malik Murphy transfers? No. I haven't seen him in the portal. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. It seems like people want Arch Manning to transfer for some reason. I don't know. What should Notre Dame go to get better? I don't have a clue, bro. I don't understand what you guys are saying. We're talking about quarterbacks in the transfer portal right now. Who should Pitt hire for Theo offensive coordinator? I haven't assessed their offensive coordinator position. Should Wisconsin look for a quarterback in the portal with Matakai leaving or run with Evers? Never. Evers will never see the field. Evers is fourth string this year. He will never see the field. Evers is not the quarterback. Stop mentioning him. What do you think of Justin Jolly out of UConn? Just entered the portal. He's a tight end. He's not a quarterback. Thank you. What do you think of Billy Edwards out of Maryland? You think he'll start next year? No. Do you think Rutgers goes after? I hope so. You're telling me Chris Lawson off one look does not look like an immediate impact player. He's a threat at Archbishop. I do not care. I do not care. Back to the quarterbacks on the list. You guys drive me crazy. Do you think USF keeps Byron Brown? They will. That's why they lost Jerry Bohannon. My mom works for Illinois and says that they can't get half the donors to pipe up money anymore due to the divide over the mascot changing. Oh, goodness. What the Talks guys jumping in the portal and still haven't played their last game of this season, do you think it hurts or helps their production in that last game? J-Key, I think every time a player goes on the field, they want to win. I don't think it hurts their production. Players want to win. These players want to go out there and show out. And I think they want to be even better than you remember them. They're going to go out and ball out, especially if they're entering the portal. Rico, you probably won't do this, but I need you to tell me why class of 2025 Chris Lawson does not have more offers. I do not give a shit about a kid getting offers or not getting offers from 2025. He doesn't have more offers because coaches haven't seen him. That's it. There's nothing else to it. Julian's saying good or bad. He's not in the transfer portal. He's not even in college. All right, back to the list. You guys drive me crazy. Ben Finley, transfer from NC State, Ryan Finley's little brother, couldn't start at NC State, couldn't beat out MJ Morris, and he transfers. And he goes all the way to Cal, and he thinks he's going to get a shot to be the starter at Cal, and they gave him every chance to be the starter. And he didn't get it done, so he loses that job. I think he has 1 year of eligibility left, and where does he go from here? He got 2 years left, my bad. Where does he go from here? Remember this. He went to high school in Phoenix, Arizona. Go to NAU. Go to Northern Arizona. Go start. Go play some games. You can't start anywhere else. Go to San Diego State. Stop going to these Power 5 schools. That's a lateral transfer there. NC State to Cal. You weren't good enough to start at one of these schools. You can't start at the other one. You are delusional. And that's what he's finding out. Adrian Lara, this is an Arizona kid. Passed for a ton of yards in high school. Went to Goodyear High School in Arizona. 10,000 yards in high school. He was everything. But I think he's only 6 feet tall. And he only throws the ball. He's not a dual threat guy. You go to K-State, not good enough to see the field, and you hit the portal and you're gone. Another NAU guy for me. Another Northern Colorado guy. Cal Poly. Where I don't know where you go. You just go to the Mountain West, or I'm sorry, the Big Sky. I don't necessarily, maybe Nevada, New Mexico, stuff like that. But maybe New Mexico. Hey, Albuquerque. That sounds right. You go to New Mexico State and sit the bench for a little bit because, they got a beast, but doesn't belong at K-State. Joey Yellen, complete red flag. I don't think this guy will ever amount to anything. I do not like Joey Yellen as a football player. I do not want him on my college team whatsoever. You guys might not know Joey Yellen's path and story, but this is a kid coming out of high school. He was an Under Armour All-American out of Mission Viejo. Just a rich kid, man, with a silver spoon, period. 6'3", 210 pounds. You guys, he's been in college 3 years. 3 years. In 2019, he went to Arizona State. Then in 2020, he went to Pitt. And then I think he followed Graham to Hawaii in 2022. He was at Hawaii. I didn't know where he was, 21. 3 different schools already, and he's back in the portal. Just a rich kid. Never done anything to impress me. I know that he played terrible back in 2022. And I think this year he threw 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, if I remember correctly. This is not good. Never thrown for over a couple hundred yards in any season. Goes to every single school and just kind of – he looks like a quarterback. He's 6'3", 200-something pounds. All of them think he's a Under Armour All-American dude, and he's not it. I just don't think he's a good quarterback. He should die in the portal. I think he should go in the portal and go become a regular citizen, get a job. He's not a college football player. Roman Fuller, I don't know what he's going to do. He's a Texas kid. You guys know how bad the quarterback play was at Tulsa if you're an MVP. You know how bad the quarterback play was. And for some reason, he still never saw the field. Right? Remember, they went with Williams, the freshman. They had Braxton Braylon get injured, and then they found Francis late in the year. You heard 3 different quarterbacks' names. Roman Fuller's not one of them. Now, he did see the field at some point, but it wasn't good. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He went 20 for 30 in a game. But if you go back and look at that game, I went and watched the game. Obviously, I've seen every Tulsa game. But I can remember watching that game, and it was so frustrating because you got a coach in Ken Wilson, a quarterback guru. Mr. Offensive Coordinator from those Oklahoma days when they were winning all the national titles, that's Ken Wilson. The offensive coordinator at Ohio State before they just switched over, right? Now he's the head coach at Tulsa. He should have this dynamic offense going. And when you went and watched it, this kid went 20 for 30 for 120 yards. You guys, 30 attempts and 120 yards, that's 4 yards an attempt. That's half of what we expect. Passing the ball, you should be somewhere around 7 or 8 yards per attempt. This dude was at 4 yards. He can't throw it anywhere. Speaking of can't throw it anywhere, Logan Fife can't throw it anywhere. Backup quarterback at Fresno State was supposed to be the starter. Supposed to be the guy. He was backing up Jake Haener last year when Jake Haener broke his foot or hurt his foot. Jake Haener missed like 4 games. Fife filled in. Didn't play great. So this last offseason, they were like, hey, we got a guy in Fife, but we need somebody else. So they bring in Mikey Keene. Mikey Keene beats him out because Mikey Keene's an alpha male. Beats this dude out. This dude is not good. He's in the portal. Congratulations. I'm not a big Fife guy. I've never believed in him. 2 years left. Remember, though, he did beat out Jalen Henderson, who ended up playing for Texas A&M these last couple weeks and looks pretty decent. Fife did beat him out. So Fife might have some skills in him, but Fife is the type of dude to start at Sunbelt team, Arkansas State, UTEP. He's that guy. He's the UTEP quarterback. Fife is the UTEP quarterback. And I didn't mean to say Arkansas State because Rayner's amazing, but get off me. E.J. Warner, this dude can sling that rock. E.J. Warner, Kurt Warner's son, he can throw for 400 or 500 yards a game, doesn't matter. The only shining bright spot on Temple last year. The year before it was Kobe Wilson at linebacker. He's now at SMU. But here you got Temple, E.J. Warner throwing it everywhere. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. I think E.J. Warner could shock the world and go be the Arizona State starting quarterback. Remember, he played high school ball in Arizona, born and raised there. Shout out to Dad. Shout out to his brothers. That's where they're from. They're from Arizona. Played his high school ball there and everything. I think he could be coming back to the West Coast. E.J. Warner, San Diego State. Sean, hey, you tell me what's up. I'm just letting you know. San Diego State, Fresno State, Arizona State. E.J. Warner's that kind of guy. Think he can do his thing. Just give him the rock and let him rip it. E.J. Warner's a hell of a quarterback. We'll see what happens. Only 6 feet tall, 190 pounds. Gunslinger, though. Hunter Helms, I'm not impressed. Don't get excited. It's a Clemson quarterback. Former walk-on. The last guy that was a former walk-on was Billy Wiles. got his scholarship from Dabo, and then he jumped in the portal and left. And Dabo does this a lot. He gives his walk-ons a scholarship, and then they jump in the portal, and he shuns them to the portal, and then they leave. And then when you leave Clemson as a scholarship player, wherever you're going, they got to give you a scholarship. That's kind of how it works, right? I have a scholarship. I'm coming to your school. I want a scholarship. Instead of just being a walk-on in the portal begging for a scholarship, you get in the portal and you have that stamp of approval. Oh, I have a Clemson scholarship. Well, they just give you one and they tell you to leave because they need to free that up for somebody else. So he got the scholarship this year as a backup quarterback. Hunter Helms, where is he going to go? Like the last guy, Billy Wiles, he went to Southern Miss. Where is Hunter Helms going to go? ULM. I keep saying ULM. That's about the bottom of the rung as you can get. I don't know. I know he's a Georgia kid. Maybe? Don't quote me on that. I remember him being, South Carolina kid. Thought he was a Georgia kid. I think he's South Carolina. Doesn't matter. Jarrett Guest, talk about this is a Georgia kid for sure. Shout out to Kennesaw Mountain. Jarrett Guest, been at Coastal for a long time. 1 year of eligibility left. No shame. You can't start over the 3-time Sun Belt Player of the Year. I get it. You're here on the chart. He did just play recently. He was in a game, gave them a chance. I think that was the game against Army that he played, if I remember, if I was watching the tape correctly. Somebody can check that for me, but I'm pretty sure he was playing against Army. And I don't remember who won the game. I think Army found a way to beat them. Maybe. It's bad. Bad football. I don't think he should be anywhere. I don't know what he's going to do. And this also confirms that Vasco is going to be the starting quarterback. Remember the Kansas transfer from last year? Tyler Vasco? Vasco, something. He'll be the starting quarterback, I think, unless they bring in a transfer for Coastal. Tim Beck's probably going with Vasco over Jarrett Guest. Gavin Rupp, this guy, poor guy, man. Gavin Rupp, 2 stars. You see it here from high school. He played in Tampa, played with a lot of good players in high school, and they were in the state semifinals game. I loved their high school team. Going to Rutgers for 1 year and 1 year, 2 years, whatever it is, you can't start over Gavin Wimsatt. They should tell you how good Rupp is. He can't start over Gavin Wimsatt, who's one of the worst quarterbacks we've seen, and I don't know what we do with that. I just don't know. I want to tell you that Gavin Rupp is a prime example of a young man getting bad advice. If you go back and look at his high school offers, he had offers from Gardner-Webb, UT Martin, okay, East Tennessee State. When you have nothing but FCS offers, you don't go take the only FBS offer to Rutgers. You're not good enough to play at the FBS. If you only have one FBS offer, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're not good enough to play at the FBS. Now, we hear about those stories, but I need you guys to understand those stories are few and far between. They're the exception to the rule, right? You can't just go around and say, well, I got one offer. I'm going to make the best of it and go prove everybody wrong, all those guys who wouldn't offer me. No, you're not going to prove them wrong. Not most of the time. Nope. It's not what's going to happen. And he didn't prove anybody wrong. Gavin Rupp has wasted years of his eligibility, at least one. I think he should go play at West Georgia, West Florida. I think he should lower the level of competition, and he would see the field. He's not a bad kid. I liked a lot of his high school tape. I used to watch him because I want to say he played with Xavier Shepard. Or Xavier, was it Xavier Shepard? Is that his name? Xavier. The kid, who's the star receiver at UCF right now? One of the stud receivers at UCF. I can't remember his name. It'll come to me. But a lot of names in my head right now. And then you got Carlos Davis at UMass. He never played, and he played very little. And the thing about it is I like him. If you guys don't know this, you see he's in purple. He used to play at Western Carolina, FCS school. He was good at Western Carolina. So you're a good dual threat guy at Western Carolina. We say, hey, you've been playing. You're going to transfer to UMass and be the guy. No. Remember, he's a last chance U kid. He's from Baltimore. I like Carlos Davis for a lot of reasons. But he also, he went to Scuba, Mississippi. But I think he belongs. This year for UMass, he went 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I think he belongs at Townsend. I think he belongs in the FCS, and he'd be good at the FCS, but not all that good at the FBS, right? It's the reality. Now, who's not on this chart? I'm going to tell you who's not on the chart before I go back to the questions, because a lot of you guys, I'm going to stop reading the questions for a little bit. You guys just piss me off. You guys don't listen to the rules of the show. You don't understand the theme. You just keep asking the same questions over and over, and I've already answered them. Rewind the show. But for me, the quarterbacks they don't mention are Caton Hauser, leaving Michigan State. Caton Hauser, former St. John Bosco quarterback. I think Caton Hauser is probably headed to UCLA. If Dante Moore is leaving, they'd probably be interested in Caton Hauser, going back home. San Diego State, Southern California schools. Shout out to Caton Hauser. Just guessing. Sam Levitt, hey, leaving Michigan State. Sam Levitt obviously jumped in the portal as soon as he heard who the new head coach was. He said, "Who's that? Smith? What? I don't want this guy." And it's because Sam Levitt is taking it very personal. Last year, Sam Levitt was the number one player in the state of Oregon. The number one quarterback in the state of Oregon. And he only wanted to play at Oregon State. And no matter what, Jonathan Smith, they would not offer Sam Levitt. He never got an offer from his hometown school. This is the number one, the Gatorade Player of the Year from this state. He won the 6A state title. He played great. And them dudes just sat there and said, "We're not offering this kid. We don't think he's any good." He wasn't having it, bro. 82 touchdowns in his career, over 3,000 yards. No way. Now, I will say this. Sam Levitt has a brother that played at Utah State, and his dad played at BYU. I think there's a chance Sam Levitt's transferring to BYU or Utah State. That's where I think Sam Levitt will be transferring. He's got 4 years of eligibility left, or even maybe Utah Utes are interested. I don't know. But it feels like Sam Levitt should be headed to Utah State. Some people will say Oregon State. Now that coach is gone, maybe Oregon State will offer you. The new head coach will offer you so you can come back home and play for your dream school. But that's that. Another guy not on this list is MJ Morris. You guys already talked about it. I think MJ Morris, playing in high school, I watched him play a ton at Pace Academy and Carrollton. He went to 2 different high schools. And then I think he should probably go to South Alabama, replace Carter Bradley. I think that's more MJ Morris's pace. I think anybody getting KJ Jefferson for 1 year should be grateful. I think Ethan Kaliakmanis belongs in the MAC or at Southern Illinois, or go compete at Illinois with, the other interception thrower. But I think he's an FCS level guy or a MAC quarterback for sure. Go to Kent State, that kind of deal. I don't know if his pride can take it, but that's where he's at. There's another quarterback in the portal named Andrew Body from Texas Southern. He's a good quarterback. He got injured this year. Texas Southern head coach gets fired. And I think Andre Johnson wants to be that head coach. If you guys didn't know, out of Houston. You know the wide receiver, Houston? Yeah, Andre Johnson said he wants to be that head coach, just so we're saying. But he just got a medical red shirt. I think Andrew Body's a good quarterback nobody talks about. Colin Gaither's in there. He's not on this list. That's the kid from South Carolina. Colin Gaither is 6'3", 208. He's from Hebron Christian Academy. You guys might not know this, all right? HCA here in Georgia, Decula, Georgia. Looks like Dracula, Georgia. You know who his head coach was in high school? Jeff Saturday. Remember when they said Jeff Saturday wasn't ready to be a head coach in the NFL? And they kept saying, he's only coached in high school. He's only did 1 season of high school, and he didn't even win the state title, all the stuff. Yeah, it was at Hebron Christian Academy, HCA. And his quarterback was Colin Gaither, the kid who just left South Carolina. Couldn't play at South Carolina. South Carolina's got a lot of good quarterbacks. Obviously, Spencer Rattler starting. They got a star freshman that I'm really excited about, and they say they want to get another transfer quarterback. I don't even know what's going on there. More power to them. Sounds like a lot of waste of money. The other quarterback leaving South Carolina, Tanner Bailey, not very good. He's an Alabama kid, 3 stars, never played. I believe he will just die in the portal. I believe he'll never get a chance to play anywhere. Tanner Bailey will not get signed anywhere. That's the second guy or third guy I've said is just not going to be anywhere. Brady Olson out of Ole Miss, I think he dies in the portal as well. He's went 0 for 3 this year. 0 for 3, like just three incompletions with 1 interception. But last year, he went 2 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I remember this. So I thought, man, is he going to compete with TP, right, the Clemson, Georgia Tech transfer? No, Taysom beat him out, and we never saw Brady Olson again. I think he's in the portal for the final time. He's got 1 year of eligibility left. No one's going to sign him. He's going to get no offers anywhere. These kids don't understand. They don't care that you played at the FBS level. They don't want you. So there's that one. Dejon Jennings, I think he's got a shot to get signed somewhere. It's an Akron kid. Couldn't start over DJ Shields. Couldn't start over under Cuffler. Some of my MVPs know what we call him. But he's a young kid, DJ Jennings. He is athletic. He was getting offered for some other positions, but coming out of high school, Kentucky offered him. So he's a MAC kid. He got offered by Eastern Michigan, Kentucky, Ball State. He's an Ohio kid. I don't know where he ends up, but he left Akron. He's got 3 years of eligibility left. If you can't play at Akron, you probably need to be in the FCS. So that's Dijon Jennings. Another guy that's not listed is Cole Snyder. Remember this. Cole Snyder, he's a Buffalo quarterback, by the way, starting quarterback. He is good, just didn't have all the right weapons. And I think he could transfer to, like, Georgia Southern. I think there's a pipeline there. I think he could transfer to – he has 1 year of eligibility left. I think he could transfer to a school where they're going to throw the ball more. Excuse me. Then there's a kid named Stone Hollenbach from Western Michigan. Stone Hollenbach is one of the most ill-advised players I've seen in a long time. Like, somebody's convinced Stone Hollenbach that he's a good quarterback and he's going to play in the NFL or something. I don't know what they're doing. Stone Hollenbach is 6'2", 217 pounds. He has 2 years of eligibility left. And coming out of high school, I watched this kid. And he only visited 2 schools. He's a 2-star quarterback from Pennsylvania. And everybody's convinced him he's good. He went to 2 schools for visits. Penn State and Alabama. And he walked on at Alabama. Cool, bro. You walked on at Alabama. Never saw the field, obviously. So he jumps in the transfer portal, and now you see a transfer quarterback from Alabama, and you think, oh, man, that guy's got to be pretty good. So Western Michigan signs him. Guess what? Can't even play at Western Michigan. Never saw the field. And Western Michigan doesn't have great quarterback play. All right? They just brought in a transfer from Old Dominion. They got some other guys, but Stone Hollenbach, not good enough, bro. And now you got 2 years left. You wasted 3 years of your life pretending like you're good enough to be at Alabama and Western Michigan when you probably just should have been at Temple waiting for E.J. Warner to leave. Stone Hollenbach, go to Temple, bro, and fight for the backup job. Speaking of the backup job, Stone Earl from North Texas is in the portal. This is a former FCS kid, Abilene Christian. He played at Abilene Christian for a couple years. Then he transferred to North Texas, and he thought he was going to be able to play at North Texas because Coach Eric Morris picked him up and said, yeah, man, I know the FCS down here. Eric Morris, you used to be the head coach at UIW. He went up to Washington State for 1 year, offensive coordinator. He went up there with Cam Ward. They killed it. They did great. Now he comes back to be the head coach of North Texas. He goes, man, let me get one of these Texas kids. I need a quarterback. Go grab Stone Earl, says, this is my new quarterback. Well, Stone Earl played in 2 games at the beginning of the year, beginning of this year. Everybody knows North Texas today scores 40 points a game. Richardson throws for 300 yards. But in the first 2 games of the season, they started Stone Earl. Whew. He threw for 100 yards against Cal and 174 yards against FIU. MVPs know FIU sucks. FIU's terrible. North Texas could never lose to FIU. Well, they did at the beginning of the year because Stone Earl was their starting quarterback. That's how bad Stone Earl is. But he's back in the portal. He's got 2 years of eligibility. I don't know where he plays. Division II? Go back to Abilene Christian? I don't know where Stone Earl goes. And the last guy in the portal that nobody's talking about quarterback-wise, Santonio Mauricio, the kid from Wake Forest. Another Wake Forest quarterback. You saw Griffiths is in the portal. Well, now the redshirt freshman, Santonio's in. He's a Florida kid. Barnum Trail, good high school, 2 years of eligibility left, 6'1", 217 pounds. I like the kid. I think he's a good player. You guys want to know something about him? When I went back and watched tape on him last year, because I was trying to figure out who's going to win the job for Sam Hartman, I found out this kid used to place in wrestling tournaments, all-state wrestling tournaments. I love quarterbacks that are wrestlers. I love them. Shout out to my boy Diego Paiva. But, yeah, he used to be a good wrestler. He used to be a good quarterback. I think he needs to go down in competition. I think he needs to go down and be a quarterback. Maybe go to Jacksonville State. Just saying. Closer to home. So that's the show, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I just talked for quite some time about all the transfer portal quarterbacks. I don't know how long we've been going. It's almost 2 hours. We got about 15 minutes. I'm going to read the rest of the chat. But those are all the quarterbacks in the transfer portal. About 45, 46 of them right now. There's still plenty missing, especially the lower level guys that I still have to assess. But I just wanted to touch on everybody listed on 24/7, on 3, Rivals, whoever, and take some of your guys' questions. So let me go back in here. Obviously, the Discord server holds priority, so let's see what happens. This isn't RicoKnows. It's Rico's True Cheap Shots. I don't know what that means. Don't come to my server wasting my time, man. Yo, Rico, 3 questions. Who should Iowa try to get for a quarterback in the portal? It really doesn't matter, man. Their offensive coordinator is a lot more important. Should Ohio State try to find a new quarterback or stick with McCord? They're obviously not going to stick with McCord. They're looking for a new quarterback. I think they should do whatever makes their team better. 3 big pots or 6 minis. I don't mess with the kitchen, bro. Would Kennesaw State be a possible destination for a transfer quarterback trying to move down to group of 5? Not sure how they look at the position. So, Evan Kramer, Kennesaw State runs a triple option type of offense. So, any quarterback you get needs to be a dual threat guy. They're perfect for a guy like Logan Smothers, something like that. And that's an inside joke there. So, there you go. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. Let me go to the YouTube chat. Go back. I think we're good here. Do you think Malik Murphy transfers? No. Your friends don't know. Thank you. Thank you. I think I already read all this. Do you think Rutgers goes after a quarterback in the portal? I would hope so. Don't care about that. Where did Kenny Pickett go to college? He went to Pitt. Where do you think Spencer Petras ends up? Somewhere on the West Coast, I would hope. He doesn't look good enough to play anywhere else. Will DeQuan Finn transfer? Not that I know of. I think he loves his coach. I think he's doing well. Let him win his conference title. Then they got a bowl game. Not that I know of. Should Oklahoma get a quarterback from the portal? I don't think anybody wants to sign with Oklahoma to be a backup. So I think it would be a waste. What SEC school has the worst quarterback situation as of right now? Well, Mississippi State doesn't have a quarterback, so I'd imagine Mississippi State has the worst quarterback situation right now. They do have a coach that attracts quarterbacks, so that could attract a quarterback, so that's pretty good. But outside of that, I would just say Mississippi State right now. With Sean Lewis at SDSU, which transfer quarterback is the best fit? Bro. Probably for his type, he likes a guy who can run a little bit. He does. I would think Colin Schlee leaves UCLA to go over there. Colin Schlee leaving UCLA to go over. If not Colin Schlee, Noah Kim's right here. Jerry Bohannon's here. Those 3. Ari Patu. There's another one. Ben Finley. These are all pretty decent quarterback options for him. He does have a safety turn quarterback, but Maiden's not that guy. A.J. Duffy from Florida State. Not much to be said. Is he in the portal? When is the wide receiver show? It's going to be after the 10th. The first day back will be the running back show. Then I go wide receivers. Every single day has a different position group. Should Oklahoma get a quarterback from the portal? No. Or Purdy from Nebraska? No. What do you think of Zane Flores of OK State? I don't. Are you not looking at comments, or are you just reading from the list? Casca, I always read every comment. Do you think Brian Brown should have entered the transfer portal? No. I think he's starting at USF. I don't know where else he would go start. Thoughts on Ryan Day? Thoughts on Fran Brown in Syracuse? Rewind the show. Ryan Day's fine. Please don't repeat your questions. I gotta read your stupid shit over and over and over. Please don't spam my channel. Why isn't Nate Johnson on the list? Oh, well, he's not a real quarterback, but he should be on the list. Ask 24/7 why they have errors on their website. Coach Ryan Day finally get over the hump next year. I don't know what hump we're talking about. They're pretty damn good. I don't know if he likes our opinions. Never answered mine. Joey Martin, what was your – I never answered anything. They delete your stuff, bro. If it's not about quarterback, you're on the wrong show. I'm asking about quarterbacks. Talk about Braylon James. Nothing to say. I see. You guys are here having conversations with each other. I read comments after I talk about all the quarterbacks. What do you think about Chip Trayanum? I don't think about Chip at all. He's a running back. I wish I knew you when I was at Purdue. I was the number 3 player out of SC and chose to go 12 hours away and didn't have an offer in state. Sucks, man. Shout out to you, Tyler Hamilton. Rico, we have a real college football question here. Cool. Thoughts on the NC State situation? What situation? Are you talking about MJ Morris leaving? I talked about that a month ago. Go find the show. I got screwed over at Purdue University, but I got to play behind a dog like Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore is a great wide receiver. Is Ryan Day an offensive freak or a freak in the sheets? What does Ryan Day need a new, I don't even know, quarterback? Does Ryan Day need a new quarterback? He's got Aaron Nolan coming in. He's got Kindholes on the roster. I don't know what you guys are doing, man. Every coach is going to want a new quarterback, a better one than the ones they have. Which quarterback could replace MJ at NC State? I mean, any one of them. Any one of them could replace him. It doesn't mean they're going to get an upgrade, right? You take Will Rogers. He's an upgrade. A lot of these guys aren't upgrades from MJ Morris. It's just the reality of the situation. Ben Finley could come back. He's already been there before. Mitch Griffiths can come down from Wake. You got slim pickings right now. Rico, do you think – my bad. Does Syracuse get a decent quarterback? They already have a decent quarterback. Does Ryan Day provide girth and tonnage in the locker room? I have no idea, Joey Martin. Rico, do you think Lou Holtz and Ryan Day are cool now? No. Should Oklahoma get a quarterback out of the portal, or will Arnold be the guy? Arnold's the guy. There is no such thing as a quarterback out of the portal better than Arnold. Arnold's the best 5-star quarterback from last year. Honest opinion on Coach Day. He's fine. What up, Lawrence? Good to see you, man. You're the plug. You think any college football coaches okay. Hey, when we see stuff like this, just take these guys and get them off my channel and never see them again. Period. Should Oklahoma get a quarterback? Please don't repeat your questions. I'll just have to ban you guys. All right, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate the show. Take care. Remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist. And it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer.